Hello everyone, I'm Richard Gon of Factory podcast version. So this time, what I'd like to talk about is that sex workers should start blogs or YouTube, which is also the title of this episode. And first of all, I created an article or written version of this episode, which is why if you'd like to know the details, if you'd like to know the details, or if you'd like to know the whole content of this episode, please read the written version or the article of Medium. So how to access is that if you are frequent listeners, you understand where to check. So it's the description column of this episode. I would like you to check. So in which I'm thinking of writing the link to the written version or the article of Medium. So by clicking or by accessing that article through that link, you can access to that. You can read that article or read the content or read the whole content of this episode. So in this episode, I'm thinking of speaking aloud or read aloud what is written partly. So I'm going to read aloud I'm thinking of reading aloud parts of the entire content of this episode or written version or the article of Medium. And what I like you to know at first is the main target readers, or in this case, main target listeners are people who are thinking of becoming sex workers, for example, prostitutes, porn actors, porn actresses, and people who are sex workers now or the present time, and people who are sex workers and are looking for other ways to feed on than being sex workers, and these people are the main target readers of the article I created. And of course, if you are not categorized in those people, I think you can. I hope you can enjoy, and I think you can enjoy that article. And in that article I created three parts, or including the introduction part. Including introduction parts, there are four parts, or there are four sections. And the first section is, of course, there is a first section and second section and third section, and before those three sections there is an introduction. And the introduction is not titled like introduction, doesn't have a title like introduction, or there is no title in introduction part. So the main part is the second one, and the second section is entitled recommendable works and occupations. And before which I created that section which is titled, or whose title is what I want you to realize. So I created that section because how should I say, one of the main purposes of this article is to let sex workers realize their own situations, which is what I like not with sex workers, which is what I like those sex workers to know. So I almost said mid sex workers, but there's no such person. So what I wanted, why I created what I want you to realize that section is because to start with, I wanted those sex workers, or I wanted people who are thinking of becoming sex workers to know the situations or the conditions of sex workers, or the conditions or the situations those sex workers are in. In short, there are many things I wrote in this section, but what I'd like to tell those sex workers is that how should I say, those sex workers have to have to find out what those sex workers have to get, how to live on after the retirement as a sex workers. Meaning is, I think most of you know that the lifespans or the duration of the career as sex workers are really short. Maybe I said what I created a hypothetical situation in that article in which the span or the career or the duration of the career as sex workers is 10 years. I said 10 years as a I said 10 years as a hypothetical or imaginary setting of sex workers in this section. So if you could understand my explanation, please take a look at the article and you can understand what I mean. Anyway, so I set down hypothetical duration of 10 years as a career of sex workers, and by introducing which I'm explaining, or I explained that those sex workers need to find out need to find out how to earn money after the retirement as sex workers, which is what I wanted those sex workers, or the people who are thinking of becoming sex workers, to understand. And of course, there is a main part, which is the second section, and which is entitled, whose title is Recommendable Works and Occupations. I mentioned minutes before, and in which I recommend three works and occupations. And the first is blogs and YouTube, which is the works and occupations I recommend the most. And the second is daytime works, and the third is investments. So of course, I recommend blogs and YouTube in this episode and in the article, and each group of works, or there are three groups. I wrote three parts. I introduced three parts in this section, in the second section, and blogs and YouTube is a part, and daytime works is a title of a part, and investments is a title of a part. So blogs and YouTube has one part in the second section, and of course the title of the part is blogs and YouTube, and each part has their own advantages, disadvantages, and description. I wrote those three stuff to each part. So each work has, or each part has advantages and disadvantages and description. So if you could understand my explanation, please access to the written version or the article of Medium. So in this case, blogs and YouTube. In the case of blogs and YouTube, I recommend the most for the career paths of sex workers. Advantages are you may be able to become rich, and you can use your own experiences as sex workers. And disadvantages are incomes from blogs and YouTube streaming are not secure, and you have to keep creating contents to keep engaging frequent viewers and visitors. And I wrote description, but it's too long to explain in this episode. So which is why I'd like you to read. The article. And other two works are daytime works, and I wrote daytime works, but this is closer to occupations, or usual or ordinary occupations. And advantages are wages from huge secure companies, and governmental organizations are secure, and people around you find you decent or excellent people. And disadvantages are incomes drop because wages of daytime jobs are lower than that of sex works or nighttime jobs. And You come to depend on the performance, working environment, social atmosphere, or benefit, and loss of the organization you belong to, which are the disadvantages of daytime works. And investments are the advantages of investments are you can get money without working, and you may be able to become rich. And disadvantages are to get money, which is mentioned in the column of advantages above. You need a lot of money beforehand, and if your assets depend on, for example, just one company, you may lose the income you have enjoyed. And I'm Japanese, so I remember the huge earthquake which happened on March 11th in 2011. Maybe some of you know that huge earthquake, and by which there was a company which got severe damage in its nuclear power plant and that company is Electric Power Corporation or Electric Power Company, and that company had some nuclear power plants, and one of them was not severely damaged or inflicted on itself really a severe damage by which that company ceased to pay dividends to the stockholders of that company. By that event, some people lost their secure incomes from the dividends of that company. And there was a famous person. I don't know the name of the person, but there was a famous person because that person lost maybe almost all the income with that event, with that earthquake, because that person depended completely on the dividends of the shares from that Electric Power Corporation. And I wrote that stuff in the article. So before starting investments, please take a look at the article. And I also wrote caution about investment itself. And there is a third section which is entitled finally. So in this section, I wrote my own opinions, and in short, I think that sex workers should be given chances or opportunities to succeed. About which I wrote my own opinions, and what should I say? What else should I say? So yeah. So I didn't write this one, but I think by combining those three works, I mean I introduced blogs and YouTube and daytime works and investments. But if you combine those works, including sex works, I think you can succeed. And which means, for example, this is my own imagination, or this is my own hallucination. Please understand like that. So I think if you combine, first you start to work as sex workers, and simultaneously you create blogs or YouTube channels. So during the time when you are working sex workers, you have to raise your own blogs, or you have to raise your own blogs or YouTube channels, and after monetizing them fully enough to cover your own costs of living, you can quit sex works whenever you want. If you could successfully monetize blogs and YouTube channels successfully enough to cover all the costs of living, including extra expenses. And I think it might be a time to start investments, by doing which investment people having a lot of money can increase a lot of money, can earn a lot of money by investments. Investments are advantageous for people having a lot of money. And thinking about blogs and YouTube channels, those blogs and YouTubes are suitable for people who do not have money, but who have enough abilities to earn money. I don't know whether you can understand that sense, but the images are, or the understandings are like that. So anyway, this time is not the episode about investment. So I'm familiar with I'm familiar with investment, not episodes. But so I'm going to end the story of investment, because it's up to, or it depends on the situations. It depends on the situation of individual. Meaning is your situation and my situation are different each other, which is why if you are rich, you are suitable for investment, because if you have a lot of money, you can increase your own money. So I mean, if you are, I don't think you are rich sex worker. I don't think you are a rich sex worker, but if you are a rich sex worker, you can increase your own money by investment, which is why I don't think you have to do I don't think you have to continue your sex work. And if you are excellent in if you are excellent sex worker, but you don't have a lot of money, so in which case I think blogs or YouTube channel, running YouTube channels, or changing to daytime works can be suitable for your life and for the rest of your career path, which is what I think, and which is what I have just thought. So please think by yourself about please think by yourself about whether you should start to invest your money in something or not. So this is all the stuff I'd like to explain. That's it. Thank you very much for your listening. See you.